Gemini, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of July. And so before I get started, this is going to be applicable for your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And your rising sign is how other people perceive you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself. And your moon sign is really how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. So understanding how all three kind of play out for the month, it's going to give you that holistic picture to help you kind of understand the energy. There's a lot of energy happening in the month of July. So kind of jumping into this a little bit here. So in the month of July, we actually have our second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So we just had one on June 21st. We have another one on July 21st. Capricorn is all about duty, responsibility, structures, anything like that. So it's very much a strategy type of energy. You might have noticed that over the last couple of weeks, and you might notice it more just because we do have these two full moons in the same sign. In addition, we have some pretty major retrogrades happening here. So a lot of people are familiar with Mercury. When Mercury goes retrograde, there's a lot of things that take place. The difference between a planet being direct and a planet being retrograde. So when it goes retrograde, there's a lot of internal reflection around the energy of that planet. And so what's happening right now is Pluto has already retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So we already know about that internal transformation, breaking down barriers, all of that. Saturn just stationed retrograde on June 29th in the sign of Pisces. Now we have Neptune in the sign of Pisces that will station retrograde this month, as well as Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer, Aries all about action, and that'll happen towards the end of the month. But starting out in the beginning of the month, that's when Neptune stations retrograde. And so that's going to happen on the 2nd at 6:40 in the morning Eastern time. And so when Neptune stations retrograde, so first, Neptune's the ruler of Pisces. Pisces, it's all about your dreams. It's what you want. Neptune, same energy. And so this is going to trine Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is all about expressing your emotions. And when I look at how it impacts you, so Pisces occupies your 10th house, Cancer, your second house. And so when you think about what are your career goals, how do you want to be in a career, or like what kind of career is the right one for you? What is your dream career? If I could get the words out, that's what I'm looking for. It's going to blend with however you're expressing yourself financially. So there's something about your personal finances, and it blends with the ideal career that you have. So this could be something where maybe your ideal career gives you an opportunity to save a lot of money. That would be Mercury and Cancer energy. Really, Mercury is not just about communication. It's also about understanding the impact of things. It's that processing of information. And so all of that could easily be happening here. We'll have Neptune retrograde, sextile the moon in Taurus. And so when you think about your career goals, that internal reflection of your career goals, it's going to create some sort of opportunity here for you to really ground yourself emotionally and subconsciously, focusing here on what you value. So there's a real synergy taking place between your career goals and how you want to talk to yourself, or how you feel about yourself internally. So it's creating an opportunity to maybe make some changes here, but you can, I should say you can. It's not a given. You have to take the opportunity. We'll also have Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces, sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so Moon in Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, again, when you think about your subconscious and the things that you want to happen, the way that you want to talk to yourself, the way that you want to be seen by other people, it's about getting grounded in that, focusing on what you value, being given an opportunity to make some changes here. All as a result of that internal reflection on your dream career. Speaking of dream career, so this Neptune retrograde in Pisces will also sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so both of these planets are retrograde. So when you think about your career goals, it's going to create an opportunity for you to make some additional changes as it relates to your growth. And so is there something here related to education that you would want to explore? Education, career, that could be something. Or maybe it's long distance travel. It's something here where you want to maybe open and expand your mind, break down some of those barriers with that Aquarius energy, and really focus on how do you align the two, because it's creating an opportunity here that you would have to take action on. It's not going to be a given. And then on the 2nd, so same day, a couple hours later, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 8:50 in the morning Eastern time. And so Mercury in Leo for you is sitting in your 3rd house. Mercury is all about communication. Leo is very bold and very dynamic, very much a loyal kind of sign, but also an assertive sign here. And so this is a lot of really maybe bold communication. It's going to blend with whatever your career goals are, whatever your ideal career is, because there is this Mercury in Leo trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. We'll also have Mercury in Leo sextile the moon in Taurus. And so when you think about this bold communication, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to feel really good and focus on what you value about yourself internally. And kind of along the same lines, it's going to sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so it's going to give you some opportunity to make some changes here. So if there's something here that needs to change so that you do value yourself more, this would be giving you an opportunity, this bold communication. This bold communication is also going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge when it comes to any kind of healing that you need to do in your friendships. So this Mercury in Leo will square Chiron in Aries. Aries occupies your 11th house here. And it's an opportunity, not an opportunity. It is an obstacle or challenge, but you're going to find later in the month that there's going to be a better way to work through all of these wounds that have kind of been below the surface. They're going to be coming to the surface when Chiron stations retrograde. And so it's not really something that needs to be dealt with right now unless you wanted to, because it's a square, so you can. And Mercury in Leo will be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this bold communication is going to be opposite any kind of internal changes that you want to make as it relates to your growth. So this could be, I'm just trying to think, bold communication or really stepping out and being assertive. If you had something planned, or maybe it's not about your growth, it could be something about your belief system. The 9th house also rules your beliefs, your personal philosophy. That's not what I wrote here. I did write your growth, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. It feels like it might be more your beliefs are changing in something. And so there's something about your communication that's at odds with maybe what you've always believed to be true, or maybe that is related to your growth strategy. So there's something here. It's an opposite energy. It's a push-pull. You would just have to find a way to work through it. And then on the 5th at 6:57 in the evening Eastern time, we will have the new moon in the sign of Cancer. And so the sun and the moon, they'll be at the same degree point in the sky. So this is a blending of energies. This is all sitting in your 2nd house. So it's really thinking about what it is that you value, thinking about, maybe expressing how you feel about what you value, your personal finances, your financial stability here. The sun and moon will also conjunct Venus in the sign of Cancer. And so if there's something here that you're working on, you're trying to bring something together, or you're trying to maybe grow and expand your finances, but doing it through bringing something else into the mix, that would be highlighted here. And what I'm getting is like an investment type of strategy where you're kind of inviting other things into the picture. So maybe it's not just having a savings account. Maybe it's having a savings account and crypto, or some sort of investment in stocks, bonds, things like that. And so there's something here about blending the energies and with an extra emphasis on what you value, because it is that 2nd house energy. We'll have the sun and moon trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And so when it comes to expressing how you feel, understanding the depths of your emotions, it's going to blend with whatever work is taking place for you within your career. So Saturn retrograde in the sign of Pisces indicates that you're doing some sort of internal work on your career, your public reputation. It's going to blend with whatever you're trying to do from a financial standpoint. Whatever you're trying to do with your personal finances, it's going to easily blend with this energy. The sun and moon will also sextile Mars and Taurus. And so when you think about, again, what you're trying to accomplish in your personal finances, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take an internal action. So is there something that you need to do differently? Like, do you need to change your spending and savings habits? Is there something along those lines that mentally you need to shift before you can accomplish those goals? Because this would be creating that opportunity for you to make that mindset shift. The sun and moon in Cancer will also square Chiron in Aries. And so it's going to create some sort of obstacles or challenges in any kind of wound related to your friendships that needs to be addressed. But again, we'll talk about more Chiron and Aries later in the month when we're going to be given an opportunity to really take a look at how do we fix this? How do we heal from some of these wounds? Or maybe one wound, maybe it's just one. During this new moon, we're also going to have the sun and the moon square both the nodes. So the north node and the south node in Aries, south node in Libra. And what this indicates here is it's the actions that you need to take in your friends. We already know that there might be some sort of wound here that needs to be addressed, but what it comes down to is there is some sort of action that you need to take in your friendships, that focusing on your finances and whatever it is that you're doing right now from a practicality standpoint, grounding yourself in your what you value, focused on that, it's going to create some sort of challenge here. But it's also going to create some sort of challenge in balancing out how you enjoy spending your free time. And so that fifth house energy in the sign of Libra is about passion projects, so hobbies, something here that probably helps you feel balanced on a regular basis. And so there might be some sort of shift here where maybe you're going to spend money differently. Maybe that would be the way that it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge in both your friendships and in your passion projects. Passion projects, or maybe your children, short-term relationships, something like that. So it could be that you're not going to spend as much money there. You're going to spend or save your money over here, because that would all kind of tie in together. So that's something that could be highlighted. This is something that you can work through because this is a square. It's easier to work with than an opposition, but it does require you to work through it. And then on the 11th at 12:19 in the afternoon Eastern time, we will have Venus enter the sign of Leo. And Leo, again, in your house of communication. And so Venus likes to bring things together. So when you think about the kind of communication that Leo wants to have, Leo's fire. Leo is loyalty. And so when you think about loyalty, bringing something together, this Venus and Leo energy is going to trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So whatever your ideal career is, whatever you're reflecting on, there's a real opportunity to bring something together. So it's kind of like bringing those goals to life. There's something connected to that, or communicating something here that you want to do within your career that really kind of elevates it. This Venus in Leo will also sextile the moon in Virgo. Virgo is sitting in your fourth house of home. And so really the way that you're communicating what you're trying to bring together, it's going to create some sort of opportunity for you to do something in your home life. Maybe some sort of healing that needs to take place in your home life, because that's Virgo type of energy, or maybe some sort of communication, could be a healing type of communication here in your home life. This Venus in Leo will also sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so it's also going to create some sort of opportunity for you to make changes internally to all of it. So there's a lot of things coming to the surface here. We'll also have Venus in Leo square Chiron in Aries. And so it is going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge. The way that you're communicating and everything that you seem to be doing so far this month, it's all very external to you. And so it's not giving you a chance to really focus on some sort of internal healing, at least in a healing type of way. You are being given opportunities to make some sort of internal change with that Uranus and Taurus energy. Venus in Leo will be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so whatever it is that you're communicating, whatever it is that you're trying to bring together through your communication is going to be opposite the changes happening in your growth. And so it feels like you might be, I'm trying to think of, because I just had an example and it completely left my mind. But if you're talking about some sort of growth here, if let's say it was you wanted higher education and there was some sort of internal change, getting yourself ready, maybe bringing something else together would indicate that maybe now's not the right time to go back to school because you want to do something else and you want to pursue something else. You want to step out and take some sort of bold action, some sort of bold communication. And that would be some sort of opposition that would prevent you from maybe going back to school right now or something along those lines. Because that Pluto retrograde, I mean, you're breaking down some sort of barrier internally, and it's at odds with whatever it is that you're doing right now from a communication standpoint. On the 20th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen at 4:43 in the afternoon Eastern time. And so when Mars enters the sign of Gemini, Mars is the planet of action. Gemini likes to make decisions, but likes to be informed. So knowing all the details, understanding how this is all going to play out, understanding the implications of those decisions, that's all Gemini energy. So Mars and Gemini will trine Neptune retrograde. And so what this means for you is any decisions that you're making around yourself, because you're Gemini, so it's all about you, your physical self, it's going to blend with whatever your ideal career is. Whatever it is that you're thinking about and reflecting on as it relates to your career or public reputation, it's all going to blend easily here. So the actions that you're taking are really going to help you there. Those actions that you take on yourself, they're also going to create some sort of opportunity here to feel more, I want to say like grounded, but healed at home as well, because that moon in Virgo energy, it's about healing, maybe some sort of emotional healing at home, something along those lines, or how you feel about your home life. It's going to help you heal there. This Mars in Gemini will also sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so the actions that you take on your physical self are going to also give you an opportunity to make some sort of internal change here as well. An internal change that's really focused on practicality, what you value, that type of energy. Mars and Gemini will also square Chiron and Aries. And so you've seen that a lot. You're going to continue to see it a little bit throughout the month. This obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound connected to your friendships. But again, we'll talk about that a little bit later here. It's actually on the last page. We'll also have Mars and Gemini opposite Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so whatever actions that you're taking to your physical self, they're just opposite. They're at odds with whatever internal changes are happening from a growth standpoint. So what this feels like is that there might be an opportunity here for you to reconsider some of the things that you've done or the decisions that you made, or maybe you need to take a look at removing more barriers in order to have that growth that you're looking for. Or maybe it's different barriers that need to come down. And then we have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn for the second time this year. So that's going to happen on the 21st at 6:17 in the morning Eastern time. And because this is the sun and the moon at opposite points in the sky, the moon in Capricorn for you is sitting in your 8th house. So the 8th house is other people's money. So this can be things like debt, your spouse's income. This could be the money that you earn from an employer. It's opposite how you feel about your personal finances. This would be the money that you already have or what you already value. And so you can see how this would be opposite. This indicates that maybe the money you earn doesn't line up with the kind of security that you're looking for. That would be that second house, 8th house type of energy. And so what happens during this full moon is all these planets talk to each other, but they just talk to each other in different ways. And so the moon will trine Mars and Gemini. So whatever actions you're taking to your physical self, they blend with however you feel about your work environment or the structures that you have in place to help you earn money or something along those lines. It all just blends together. So what you're doing is really in alignment. All those actions you're taking are really in alignment with what you've already established for yourself. The sun in Cancer will sextile Mars and Gemini. And so how you feel about your personal finances, the money you already have saved, is going to create some sort of opportunity here for you to make additional changes to your physical self. This moon in Capricorn and the sun will both square Chiron in Aries. And so you can see here the money that you earn or the structures that you have in place to earn money. Could be spouse's money. This could even be inheritance. So it's something about other people's money. It's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing a wound with your friends, as well as the money that you already have saved and how you feel about your personal stability and security. It's also going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing wounds connected to your friends. So there really might be something connected to money and friends, and maybe some money that you're willing to spend or not willing to spend when it comes to your friendships versus maybe them being able to spend more money or something along those lines. This moon in Capricorn will also trine Uranus and Taurus. And so how you feel about the money that you're bringing in, the structures that you have in place related to that, it's going to blend with whatever internal changes you're trying to make to yourself. And so when you think about, because it came up earlier in the month, Or you might be given an opportunity here to change your spending and savings habits. That would be some sort of Uranus and Taurus. It's going to blend with the way that you make money or the structures you have in place or that strategy you have in place to make money. The Sun in Cancer will create an opportunity for more changes to take place internally. So how you feel about your personal finances, more opportunity here for maybe some sort of change as it relates to your spending and savings habits. Then we have the Moon in Capricorn, a sextile Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And so when you think about what you've established from this is how I want to make money standpoint, it's going to create an opportunity here for you to really reflect on your career goals. What is your ideal career? Is there something that you want to do differently here? Because it's really going to get you to kind of think about that, really focus on that energy. It's an opportunity that you would have to kind of take advantage of. It's not going to be handed to you. Whereas the Sun in Cancer is going to be trying this energy. This is an easy blend of energy. So how you feel about your personal finances and what you value, it's going to blend with the career that you have, the goals that you've set for yourself, that internal reflection. So there's a lot of emphasis for you this month when it comes to your personal finances and your career and just kind of how everything plays together and what your long-term goals might be. We'll have the Moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so what this tells me is whatever you've put into place for yourself to make money from another source, like it could be your spouse's money, it could be from an employer, it's going to blend with whatever changes, internal changes are happening for you in order to grow yourself. Whereas the money that you already have is opposite that. So when I kind of go back to that higher education example, the money that you bring in is going to help you make changes to your growth. But if your growth relates to spending money, that would be that opposition, because maybe you don't want to spend the money. Maybe you want to hold on to the money because you feel like this is something that you do want to hold on to. You don't want to spend the money on going back to school. And so that would be that opposition type of energy. So again, you can work with the energy. It's not going to be is going to be something that you have to work through, but it is possible. You can find that happy medium there. And then on the 22nd, we'll have the Sun enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 3:45 in the morning Eastern time. The Sun actually rules the sign of Leo. So when this happens, we'll have the Sun trine Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Sun in Leo. This is really bold, kind of assertive type of expression of yourself, sitting in the third house, lots of communication here. The Sun is communication. Third house is communication. Leo, really loyal, bold, dynamic energy. It's going to blend with whatever your career goals are, whatever you are thinking about, whatever your career goals are evolving into, it's going to blend. We'll also have the Sun in Leo sextile Mars in the sign of Gemini. And so this is where your bold communication is going to create some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of action on yourself. That Mars in Gemini is about you physically and about any kind of action, informed action that you want to take on yourself. And so love to see this because it's really giving you lots of opportunity to kind of step out and do something different here. Because then we have the bold communication, sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so it's also going to create an opportunity for you to make some sort of internal change for yourself. This Sun in Leo will be opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so any kind of bold communication here is opposite the changes that you want to make for your own growth or something along those lines. So again, opposition, it's going to be at odds. You can find the happy medium. You just have to work for it. And then on the 25th, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Virgo. So that's going to happen at 6:42 in the evening Eastern time. And Mercury actually rules the sign of Virgo. It also rules Gemini, so keep that in mind. But Virgo here has a little bit different of a take. So Virgo is a very healing type of energy. And right away, what we'll see is Mercury will trine Chiron in Aries. And so when you literally think about Mercury in Virgo, what is it that you need to do to heal some of these wounds? Because this is going to blend. This energy is going to blend. It's thinking about Mercury in Virgo. What about my home life can I incorporate to help heal any kind of wound that's coming to the surface related to my friends? Mercury in Virgo will also square Mars in Gemini. And so what's going to happen here is when you think about this Mercury in Virgo, your home life is you not being out in the public. And so square Mars in Gemini, you've been taking some sort of action or you're making some sort of decision about yourself, your physical self. This Mercury in Virgo, there's something here that you want to heal. There's something here you really understand, maybe the complexity of it. It's going to create some sort of challenge to the changes that you're making to yourself. And so it's this energy that you can work through. It does require you to come up with maybe some sort of strategy or some sort of plan to be able to work through it. How do you align the changes that you've decided to make on yourself? How do you align that with Mercury and Virgo, with any kind of healing about your home life or thinking about your home life here? How do you get them into some sort of balance? Because we'll also have Mercury and Virgo square Uranus and Taurus. And again, Mercury and Virgo, when you think about your home life, literally thinking home and any kind of healing that's going to take place there, it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the changes that are happening to you internally. And so it feels like with this Mercury and Virgo energy that you're being given an opportunity to maybe take that step back and start focusing on some other things that need to be prioritized, like this Chiron and Aries energy. Because right after Mercury enters the sign of Virgo, Chiron stations retrograde in Aries. So that happens on the 26th at 9:59 in the morning Eastern time. So it's literally the next day, a little bit more than 12 hours later. And so Chiron stationing retrograde in the sign of Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. It's an asteroid. And this retrograde energy has these wounds coming to the surface. Aries, sitting in the sign of Aries, requires some sort of action to take place. So a healing does need to take place here. And when Chiron stations retrograde, it's going to be conjunct the moon in the sign of Aries. For you, this is all sitting in your 11th house of friends, your tribe, your community. And so any kind of wounds that are coming to the surface here, you're going to feel and understand what you need to do in order to heal those wounds. What actions do you need to take here? Because we'll also have this Chiron retrograde trine Mercury in Virgo. So we saw it the day before when Mercury entered Virgo. We're seeing it again here. And so really understanding, what do you need to do in order to heal those friendships? Because you're going to have to do something. That Aries energy requires some sort of action. And so what is this wound? How do you kind of heal it, fix it? We'll also have Chiron retrograde trine the Venus in Leo. And so when you think about your bold communication, that's also going to give you, it's also going to blend with whatever you do that needs to heal these friendship wounds. This could be some sort of conversation that you might need to have with them, really stepping out, being loyal to your friendships, or speaking out in such a way, stepping outside your comfort zone here with that Leo energy, and using that to really kind of aid you in helping to heal these wounds. Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries will square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so the wounds that you need to address right now are creating obstacles and challenges to any kind of growth that you want to do, or any kind of internal transformation related to your growth. It does feel like almost that's kind of tabled for a minute while you address this. So kind of think about that type of energy, because what I'm getting throughout this month is these wounds are coming to the surface. You've been doing a lot of external things, kind of almost ignoring this internal wound. And now this internal wound is coming to the surface. So that almost needs to become the priority while you kind of not deal with these external things. And so that's really what this energy is all about. Again, you can find a way to work through it. It's a square energy. It does require you to put some effort into it though. So Gemini, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.